There seems to be a developing popular theme these days of looking at old pieces of art, classic pieces of art, and even modern pieces of art such as our corporate logos, and finding hidden meanings, hidden to the uninitiated or occulted from our awareness. The only reason why symbolism remains a secret language is because people don't study it. And that is the simple truth and the simple answer. If you don't study how to be a hairdresser or beautician, you're not going to know necessarily how to cut hair in a professional manner. Therefore, if you're not engaged in the symbolism in your own life, in your own experience, and what's been presented to you, if you kind of just turn that off and say, gee, that's pretty, or that inspires me, or that makes me feel sad. If you are only judging the symbols or art in your life by how it makes you feel, then you're not seeing the big picture, and therefore the meanings are hidden from you. Your perception of art and possibly life itself is self-centered and based merely on the perception of your feelings and not the perception of facts or truths. One of my friends on Facebook, he has been on YouTube for a long time, known as Star Scream, also known as Danny Wilten. He has recently been discovering day after day new information about classical pieces of art, spiritual, religious pieces of art, and how they line up with pictures of the galaxies. And I'll say no more on that subject. Danny Wilton will take you on the journey himself, so please visit him. I've been working with tarot almost on a daily basis for over 20 years. I've counseled thousands of people. I'm one of the most prolific psychics that I've ever met anyway. I've racked up a lot of readings. So I'm not your average bear when it comes to symbol interpretation. I'm definitely an expert and an authority on the subject. And I would like to thank my spirit guide, Hermes, for helping me and to see what the symbols mean. When I learned how to contact and commune with my spirit guide at will, then began a process of his narration of symbols and teaching me and learning from him in an interactive way. So I've picked this picture from Darkness to Light, which is a Masonic picture. I'm not a Mason. I have never been to a Masonic meeting. I've never been asked to be a Mason in this lifetime. I have no connections with Masonry whatsoever, and as far as I know, no one in my family line has either. So I'm not sworn to secrecy. I just have this, wonderful spirit guide, Hermes, who happens to know what the symbols mean and explains them to me in a way I can access them for myself and my own knowledge and my own learning. The first thing that struck me about this picture, from darkness to light, is that is a literal translation of what the meaning of guru is. Guru, beloved teacher, one who takes someone from darkness into the light, illuminates the shadow. And to illuminate one's shadow is an integral part of enlightenment. So, as Donald Michael Craig states in his book, Modern Magic, the best way to look at a picture or a tarot card is to scan it first. So you start in the top left corner and then you scan it from there. So follow along. In the top left corner we have the beautiful pigment of blue and the pigment of yellow. Yellow is Mercury, and so in that blue yellow sense we have the intellect meeting the intellect of Mercury, yellow, meeting the hermetic blue. Okay. We're also going to look at that star alignment over the moon, and to me it looks like it's an arrow and it's pointing upward, but I would bet anything that that star alignment also matches up with a literal star alignment in our night sky. I'm not familiar with that. For more information on that, see Danny Wilten's work. So we've scanned the top of the card, and I see that that moon is a waning moon, which means getting smaller. And so if I were to do this, oh, well, I see what they're saying here, from darkness, because that is a waning moon, and soon it will be a dark moon. The border, now I'm going to go downward. Donald Michael Craig would say, go to the right, but I want to cover this border here. This border are many different things that actually happened for the Masons, for their little group there, commemorations of moments in their group, and also commemorations of moments in the past that possibly they think their ancestors had, or their right lineage had these experiences. So it's kind of like the mythology of their tribe, so to speak. And the first one I'm really drawn to is this most simplistic one to me, is the pillars. The pillars on the stairs on the right in the oval. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillars, 5 stairs. The pillars, I understand, mean truths, principles, beliefs that you uphold. And we would use modernly the phrase, someone is a pillar in their community. And just that we would use that phrase, and the Masons are basically using that phrase here as well, means one of two things. Masonic language has made its way into our culture as an everyday thing, or they've taken from cultures and made the statements their own, claimed them as their own. And as Hermes always likes to point out, there's always a third explanation, that the pillar upholding the truth is a universal truth and something we are all born knowing. In fact, Hermes goes on to say that we are all born knowing these symbols, meaning the initiates, those who have learned in a past life about the meaning of God, the meaning of love, and the meaning of reincarnation. So that covers the border for me. I won't let that distract me. And obviously the moon on the left and the sun on the right is polarity. And polarity does describe the current state of our 3D reality. Polarity, opposites, paradox. It's very Alice in Wonderland here. Everything's backwards from where we originally come from and from where we go when we die. So when the Buddhists call this earth, this cycle, samsara, world of suffering, they know that it is an impermanent state of difficulty. Impermanent, not permanent, transitory state of suffering. And this is a phase that humankind is going through. The pressure that is put upon the coal to produce the diamond or enlightened soul. The two pillars are also reflected again in the picture by the two ladies, holding two different spheres or orbs. The sphere on the left appears to be our planet. The sphere on the right appears to be our universe. What strikes me as very odd, around the book, around the table there, the altar, the three candles seem very out of place. In Wicca, we would have 4 candles for the 4 directions and the 4 elements of earth. In this scenario, they tend to be speaking about the 3 Vestal virgins that keep the flame of knowledge alive, even in the darkest times of samsara, or world of suffering. That looks imbalanced to me and incorrect, so I would like to point that out. The ladies, the one on the right, is easily accessible. There is much written about her. She is the queen bee. She is physical manifestation of strength and power and femininity, but she's also very Leo-like. She thrusts her will, or she maybe thrusts her ego, and she gets what she wants. She is the queen bee. The lady on the left, Hermes, tells me she is incense, and that also means in this case she is innocence. She is the bright lady and the one that I would be more attuned to her energies. So I am much more drawn to the lady on the left, the innocent incense of her truth and beauty and lack of ego. She is a vessel for light. Of course, the eye is the all-seeing eye of pick deity of choice. It is the all-seeing eye of Creator, the one that loves you beyond measure. And of course, it's just a human depiction of it. We are not perfected creatures yet, so we put in the symbol. What do I think the eye of God would look like? Well, there's an example of it. The white building there is not a lodge. It's not a government building or anything of that nature. It's much more akin to Olympus, where the gods live, heaven. It looks very much to me like the French palace or, something on the planet. And I want you to know that that's definitely not man-made and would not be glorified as a physical building in this type of picture. Now below you see the two ladies and the hands reaching out from their hearts, shaking. Now, and also the pyramid below that the woman on the right is pointing to or indicating. And their arms make a triangle. You see all that in there, the triangle above, and then the triangle indicated. You see the lady on the left is touching her heart, and what comes out from her is the color pink. And the lady on the right is merely indicating our level of reality, basically, Malkuth. And out from her heart is coming the blue bird of communication. And they are shaking hands as friends, which means, well, it really means the heart must communicate, or the spirit must communicate with the self. The higher knowing must communicate with the lower self for enlightenment to occur. So these ladies are all about the triangles, obviously, and again, that's the 3, and that is the keepers of the sacred flame, and you can look that up. This video has gotten quite long, so I'm going to end it there and let you explore. Leave comments below. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. There's much more in this picture, but I don't want to make a video that's too long because a lot of people don't tend to watch those. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Namaste, blessed be, and remember, all one.